There's a new pen in town, and it's called a Chameleon pen. Well, it's a whole set of pens, and we have them for you.
What's unique about these pens is they have a mixing chamber that changes the tone of your pen for seamless blending all in one pen.
That's right, and we've got projects to show you. Come play with us. Well, here is the collection. There are 4 sets. Now they each have 5 pens.
5 pens in each set, and you get these different ranges of color. You have a primary tone set, pastel tones, cool tones, and earth tones.
Right, and the pens look like this. I guess you have some over there too.
Sure, I can pull one over here.
Okay, so they're round like this, and they come in this pack, and let me pull this part.
They also come with 2 replaceable nibs.
Right.
So that these are the soft brush tip nibs. There's a brush tip on one end and a bullet nib on the other.
Okay,
In fact, I can just show you one here. So this is one of the pens. It really is about 2 elements. It has a mixing chamber, which we'll talk more about that in a little bit, which is right here. And you can see this white nib in there. And then you have the pen itself. So the pen itself has a bullet end. I think that's on this end. Let's see. Yeah, that's the bullet tip end. So that's really for fine detail. And then it has a super soft brush nib at the other end. And they are replaceable, especially the brush nibs. Like I say, it comes with 2 of them, so if they get soft or frayed, you can replace it with one. But what's cool about these is this mixing chamber contains a colorless blending solution. So basically, when you want to make a color go from light to dark, you're going to remove one end of the pen.
Either end.
Either end.
Okay.
Whatever end you want to work with. You push it into that chamber, and now if you look very closely, you can see them touching.
Aha.
Now, what you have to do with this is you have to hold it upright because gravity is going to feed the colorless solution into the pen. And when you do that, you're going to hold it for a little while. Now, they recommend anywhere from 8 seconds on up to 40 seconds. I think you would rarely need the long period of time. I think I've done probably from 8 seconds to 15 seconds. And that's forcing the blending solution just with gravity into the pen so that it's decreasing the amount of pigment that's going to be coming out of that pen, the alcohol ink. I'm going to go ahead and pull it off just to see what we have so far so that when you start coloring with it, it's going to start lighter or very faint tint, and as you go, it's going to add color. Now that went pretty quick because I didn't hold it on, and this is the actual color. Now here's the normal color. If you just use it as a pen, you can just use it like that. But if you use the solution with it, you're going to get that blending, and it's just seamless blending, just like that.
And there is a flyer that comes in every package that does a nice job of explaining the process and just giving you more information, and looks like that. And this is in every single package,
right,
along with the 5 pens and the 2
Lots
tips.
of tips and tricks, tells you just how to use it, and some of what we've talked about already.
And I think you said it, but this is an alcohol ink pen.
Alcohol-based pen, and so they will work on most surfaces.
Right.
So like any alcohol pen. Oh, beautiful.
Now, here's our first project, and the blending was done, as you can see in the background here, which I think is just a wonderful way to use it because it allows you to go from the light to the dark.
Right.
Now, the other piece in here, you can see that some areas of this cake were also blended, probably most prominently there because it's the largest piece.
And this is done with the, oh, you've got it there, the cake handle and flower cutting die.
Yeah. And this one was used with the flower, as you can see.
So you can see that the overlay is up with the cutting die. The background was traced around with the cutting die, was traced around so that you can get the backing of just that cardstock, and then the cardstock was colored with the pens before the cutting die was laid back on top of it.
And obviously this is a piece of cardstock in the middle.
But I also love the edges. You can see the pen was used. It was used with the mixing chamber, which I'm over here letting it go for a few seconds. I've got the mixing chamber on the pen here. It was used until it got a pretty light effect, and then it was you just start going back and forth and then stopping here.
Right.
Then you do it again.
Turn
you
it
put that
over.
mixing chamber on there again, you wait a little bit, and then you do the other way. And I've got it one way, so just like I just showed you, it's the same thing, but this is what was done. So that background was used, and I'm sort of laying it down a little bit at an angle so that you can get the most color that you can get, and that you can get. And then you just keep moving down until it gets to that dark point. At that point, I would put it back on the mixing chamber. I would wait a few seconds, 8 to 10 seconds, turn it over, and then I would start at the top and work my way down to that dark in the center. So I just thought that was a really neat effect.
It's a great idea to use for a background like this. Just it really gives you something going on, but not too much to take away from that beautiful cake that's happening. And just to show you the inside, although the pens weren't used, just showing you there is an inside. Welcome, our Celebrate friend is from the Dazzles. So there you go. Now, another product that you can use is the Color Me. Now, the card toppers have been used, and here is what Debbie has done. And so as we get in just a little bit closer, you can see that gradation on this label that's part of the set.
From one end to the other.
From light to dark, so you can control that. The straight color was used, as you can see, on all of the herringbone areas.
Right.
So that.
Right, and then as well on here, so you can just open them up without using the mixing chamber and just use them as a regular set of pens. But then again, you can also use the mixing chamber, and then you start to get this area where you've got the color changing in there. And I actually have, let's see.
You're going to show this?
I am going to show this.
Okay.
I probably should have put this on here because I hate to have you wait, but it's it doesn't take very long, and I do have one of the Color Me. What I like about using this with the Color Me is that you've got all of those lines already there for you. You can just color within them, and I didn't find that it removed any of the embossing, the raised embossed areas from there at all. So that's been on there just a few seconds, maybe not 8 in total, but I'm going to pull it off and see what happens. And I'm going to start with one of the petals. And just start from the center. You can see how light it is, and
so
I
you
just
can
go
let
back
that be
and
light.
forth. And let that be light, and I'm just going to keep moving it down. I'm going to go kind of slow because I want some of that color to kick in. There we go. And then it gets darker as you get down to the end. Look at that. Look how beautiful that is.
Now you would need to do each petal.
Right.
Right.
Right. You'd have to, now I've put that mixing chamber back on there, wait, and I don't even think I waited maybe 5 or 6 seconds. So a small area like that. And if you wanted to, you could do that, and then you could sort of test it to see, well, where am I in that color? I've got to, I want to use that right away, and then get in there and start adding color to your next petal.
Okay.
Something that Susan said is that she kind of liked the idea that as you're going along, once you get to a point where it's dark, then you would go, I'm going to move over to where I want the dark areas now, and just use it there. And then she would put the mixing chamber back on and do another petal, and when it got dark, she would move on to, she sort of hopped around to the different areas that she wanted to color in.
So here is what Debbie has done, and you can see she chose to have it darker in the center on a couple of them. And then with the larger flowers, she chose to have it lighter and going darker, because flowers come in all kinds of combinations. And so you can see that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 flowers, 6 flowers, I guess, all in different colors. And then use the solid color for the centers.
For the centers.
Right.
So it's a nice way to mix the techniques. I especially like the label. And
I do too.
We did talk about it, but I like that look.
And then on the inside, she's done the same thing on this label with the yellow and the pink.
And what's great is she reversed it so that it starts light here and goes to dark over here, and starts light in the center and goes dark this way. That's a neat way to use it.
Cute. Very neat. Nice to have,
different options of using the pens. I just, they're kind of fun that way. It's fun to experiment with them. You're going to want to experiment with how many seconds you're going to leave that mixing chamber.
Right. Like many things, you want to get the hang of it, kind of. Now, this is a much lighter look. Now, this is incorporating the new On Butterfly Wings papers, as well as the Dazzles. And just to show you the Dazzles, they are a gold.
Dazzles.
Wow, they're a gold pearl with silver foiling. And They do come with the black jewel Dazzles, and this might be another way to see them.
This is like my new favorite Dazzles set. They're just gorgeous, a very nostalgic and vintage look with the flowers and the butterflies. Beautiful.
Very pretty, and that kind of goes with the on butterfly wings. But the Dazzles themselves were placed on the paper, and then the Chameleon was used to color in.
Right.
You can see starting with the light area and going to the darker.
And in different colors were used too, so a little bit was mixed. This one had more of one of the orange colors, and I believe this one was used with the pastel pens.
Okay.
So, and right on the package here, I didn't note that yet, but here are the colors that are within the package. It's a kind of a bisque, it says a cool gray, a fawn, a bubblegum, and this yellow one that I can't read the name on there. But so it shows you on the package the colors that you're getting. And so more than one of those colors was used on one of these butterflies, which were actually placed on cardstock because they work really great on smoother cardstock, like an ultra smooth or silky papers work great for these, great for blending.
You can see the pocket watch is done that way
so
also.
So it's easy to blend. In this case, you would have started in the center with the pen while it was after you had used the mixing chamber, and I would have just like gone in circles until the color started to kick in, and then you got around to the edge of it, getting darker and darker.
Yeah, it's very nice. And then on the minute or second hand also.
Right.
And on this particular page, the other thing that's used are the two swirls cutting die. Yeah, I'm sorry I don't have that, but just to show you, I love how this can kind of go in and around to really highlight an area of flowers, or like this with Dazzles. And also look at that Dazzle. Now that's interesting with the gray tone in there.
It is, I love that. But adding gray and a little bit of pink or brown in there is just beautiful. And it just, so in this one, you would have started, now see, okay, here's my thought on this one. You have the pen, you've got it on your mixing chamber, you take it off, and you start right up here on the edge where it's lightest. And you do it until it gets a little bit darker, and then you skip down here and get the dark parts that you want. Put it on the mixing chamber again, start it in these areas and move down this way. So you can just skip around like that and still get those great blended results.
Now, how about stamping, you might be thinking? Well, how about it? This is Janie's Furry Friends, which is also the new stamp set. And this is with the hopscotch papers. And look at that little charmer. Now, Susan did this, and she's quite a fan of the pens.
Right. And she liked the fact that she could start, like you can start in the center, like maybe on the dog's face, move around to get until you get that darker edge. And then when it's darker, like I say, you move around to some other spots where you might be using some of those darker colors. And so in that way, she just skipped back and forth all over this until she had the effect that she wanted. She even left some, you know, there's a lot to say for blending, and you want to blend a lot, but sometimes it's nice just to leave a line too, so you can use it without the mixing chamber to create this extra little shaded line, like underneath the edges of the roof line on the doghouse there.
And on the inside, well, we have an extra little guy. Hope your day is filled with treats. Well, don't we all?
This is what I want to point out on the edges of the work that she's done. She also highlighted just around the edge and did pen work. So there's a black line and these little black dots. Those are all pen work. And this was with the design toolkit, I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure
one of the
also.
New design toolkit. So check out the gallery to find out which one that is.
And what's nice too is that you can see from the range of projects from this one, which really uses a broad expanse of space, to the tiny detail that you saw on this, that the pens allow you to do both, and even just that line around the edge.
This was Design Toolkit number 7. That's one of our new ones, and it's great fun. It has these little ticket tags and all kinds of fun
and the labels
elements
and stuff. So the Chameleon pens, that's a short little survey of them. There are the 4 sets. They are refillable, and they do have that magic mixing chamber.
That magic mixing chamber. Experience it. It's kind of fun.